Welcome once again to Success Magnet, where we're introducing success coaches. We are ready to hear from Pace Ellsworth. And I have to say, I have known this guy since 1987. In fact, he came out of my belly screaming, and he has been screaming his entire life. He's always been a successful person. He's always gone after his dreams, and it's been wonderful to watch him. So, Pace, my son, please tell us a little bit about your journey when it comes to technology and how you've been able to help people.
Well, thanks. It's really good to be here, Mom. I started very early. As you know, as a kid growing up, we had a Commodore 64. I'm sure you remember that we had a computer and we could play some video games on there, and it was fascinating. Alley Cat and Bouncing Baby and all sorts of other things. And then we got, AOL, and this is a throwback for people. We got Windows 95 and email and everything for the first time. In fact, a story from my wife's family. We've unearthed a letter that was sent by my father-in-law to my wife's aunt, and it was saying like, "Hey, we got email for the first time, and I fixed the problem with the modem," and then it was with an article that said, you know. 20 ways to like use your family computer or something like that. It was just
Wow. And
a
was that
throwback.
in, yeah, what date was that, in the late 90s or?
1996.
I
Yeah.
love it.
So what I did is I got into college and then I started in political science and realized nobody wanted to change their mind about anything. So I switched into linguistics. And normally people think that that's just a study of like how to learn how to speak languages. But it was really changing at the time with tools, and I studied translation tools and then computational linguistics, which is the foundation science for modern AI systems with large language models. Because the way that they work is by studying tons and tons and tons of language to copy the way people talk. And the way people talk is the way they think. So that's what allows AI to do what it does.
Wow. I had never thought about that connection, between language and technology. Uh, I'm so
Every
excited to hear about how you serve others and help people to succeed in their companies and kind of shortcut. I guess I feel like whenever I call you, I'm getting a hack of some kind. Like, some technology that I'm like, really? That exists?
Well,
So,
it's great. We obviously one of the first things that I did in practical technology was building websites. And that's gotten easier and easier. For the longest time it couldn't get any easier than dragging and dropping things, but if you had a complex vision for your website, you really couldn't get a whole lot done if your system that you used was limited to just the options on the toolbar. Now, for example, I took AI and I said, I want to, and this might seem like a small thing, I want to replace this $30 a month website where it's a drag and drop. I don't really have the time to go in and make changes. I just want to replace the entire thing. Can you copy it pixel for pixel? And in about an hour and a half, AI did the entire thing, and I'm able to host that for free. Instead of paying $30 a month, that saves me $1,000 every 3 years. So it's, that now because it only took an hour and a half, it's like it's like being paid $600 an hour.
wow. And you can help people to do that for
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah, for sure. In fact, I think I've got a queue. I need to build like 5 websites this weekend, something like that.
Uh-huh.
But that's
An hour
that's
and
the
a half each.
process
So
now.
that's what, 7.5 hours?
It's an easy thing to focus on is building websites. That's an easy kind of hurdle to cover. But AI tools cover everything nowadays. So it's like
Mhm.
generating your voice, right? A copy of your voice. In fact, we've connected that. So I've got a system for a conversational voice AI, so it can actually connect to your phone, take your calls for you, process all of the spam callers, figure out who actually is worth your time, pass the message along to you, and then, it might even be able to call you and then bridge the call And then, you start talking to the person, but you have a screening service that's better than just, hey, hello, please state your name and why you're calling, you know?
Right. Wow. I mean, I feel like this is all conceptual, but most of us can't really wrap our brain around it. So going to an expert like you would be, you easily implement something and can save people, thousands of dollars and can help make money for them as well because of the tools that you're using. Does that sound about right?
Yes. I mean, I really try to open people's minds to what AI is and what it's doing. It's not just a tool. Yes, like every piece of technology, it is a tool,
Mhm.
but we're reaching into something special with this technology. It's You can think of every single tool as a prosthetic device, something that extends and expands your capabilities, right? Any power
Mhm.
tool is like that. Any big construction machinery is like that. A car is like that. It's essentially prosthetic legs that run really fast. AI is prosthetic thought. It's the ability for you to have a second brain. So you could train it with what you are like, and then it can do things that you would do. It can make choices that you would make. It's not going to be perfect at doing that for a while, but eventually it's going to be indistinguishable. And so it can really, really give you more time in the day because it can be you doing more stuff.
Wow, it seems really transformational. You mentioned to me before the word transformation and what it means different things to different people. What does it actually mean to the people that are listening to this? What should they care about?
Well, they should really look at it as they should try to break open the walls of the box because they don't need to just think outside the box. They need to see outside the box. They need to live outside the box.
Mm,
They are stuck in a kind of a route that they think that their system allows. But this allows for you to break the rules and create your own system, create your own path of least resistance
mhm.
to the success that you're seeking because you can now get a year of work done in a week or something like that
Wow.
compared to what you could do before. So, and
Your brothers,
That's going to look different
your
for every
brothers,
person.
sorry, I was going to make a mention here that your brothers have told me before that you're a genius, and now I'm seeing that even more as I'm talking to you about this technology. Uh, Walk me through a little bit about the real transformation that you've led and what was broken, what did you change, and what are the measurable results of that?
So I'll give you a project that I'm actually starting now. Just got paid this morning on um, on one that's for an insurance agency, and they
Mhm.
do group health. They've got like 50 agents. It's a fairly decent size group in this brokerage, and uh, it took them it took them like a month to decide to do this. That's going to be your biggest problem always, is just you. You are the bottleneck.
Mhm.
And as soon as but they said, well, can you just kind of take a look at our systems before we make a decision? So they gave us access to the systems. I threw AI at it for about 3 hours, came up with 200 reports of all of the different issues with their security and, very glaring security issues, especially since they're storing private health information, right, for people. They're subject to laws that govern that. So they need to be extremely careful with the way their system is designed. So it was able to come up with recommendations for fixes, some that can be made in a few minutes, some that are gonna, have to take some other interventions, but that was able to do in 3 hours and a full cybersecurity audit, stuff that you generally pay $50,000 for
Mhm.
is something that I was able to do at really no marginal cost for me, but it's the cost for them is the value of the expertise.
Right. So you're saying that you were able to identify the issues. Now, were you able to, it takes time then to fix all of those issues.
Yeah,
right?
since we just
Or
got paid, since we just got paid this morning, we didn't have authorization to begin making changes, but we do now. So it's
now you're gonna go into the transformation side of that of their
that's right.
business right there.
Yeah.
So what
That's
do
an
you think?
example of a much larger project. So if you
Right.
wanted a full transformation, that's what we would need to look at. We would need to see how do you interact with other people? What is
Okay.
your goal in the business? Where are these stumbling blocks? The reason
Mhm.
we did the or we're doing the project is because things are falling through the cracks. They have a long onboarding process, and it involves having to gather a lot of documents from the client. And so if they don't gather those documents in time, people fall through the cracks. If they don't process those documents in time, people fall through the cracks. If if they process them but they don't schedule the appointment with the client, if they don't keep in touch with the client and figure out if they have any concerns or confusion, all of these are opportunities for things to fall through the cracks. And that's just 10%, 20%, 30%, 40% of the business just disappearing. So with little changes that cost a little bit of time, you can gradually double the size of your business.
Yeah, it sounds like uh that sort of I heard you talking generically. I mean, that could really work for any business, not just the
Any
insurance
business,
company that you're working with right now.
everyone.
But what do you feel like the biggest mistake that some of the leaders of organizations make when they're trying to adopt AI, and what should they do instead?
Well, AI is all context. It's all
Mhm.
garbage in, garbage out, right? But it's also that's also no different than people. If you give someone bad advice, they're going to make bad choices. And if you connect someone to a bad system, they can only be as efficient as the system. So I would say the first mistake is just to throw AI at your current system and have it do more of the way that you are doing it. So if your process involves a lot of manual paper forms, and all you're doing is you're like getting your engineering the AI to call people to remind them to go fill out your paper form. Like that is a slower way of going about it. But if you were to get the AI's recommendation, that's my first recommendation. Just ask it what your system should be instead.
Mhm.
So tell it what you're trying to accomplish, tell it what you currently have, and ask, how can I do this better? And then it will just give you a better strategy. So start with planning. What's the thing like proper prior planning prevents poor performance?
Yeah.
So you need that. You need lots of planning. Plan, 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 because the better you plan the prompt, the better the AI will perform.
Right.
Hmm.
You know, sometimes when I think of AI and all the changes that are making, I mean, I get overwhelmed with AI, and yet I do use it every single day in my business, and it's so very helpful. I'm sure I'm just scratching the surface of it. But who is your ideal client or your or student, and how can you help them to, have a more comfort level, not feel that overwhelm?
My ideal would definitely be somebody that has a very, very high potential for growth.
Hmm.
If you're a hot dog vendor, it's going to there are going to be other barriers to growth that technology will have a hard time solving because of
Yeah,
how physical
maybe
you're.
not. Maybe a hot dog vendor doesn't need an
Right.
AI, so to
How
speak, right?
physical, how
Okay.
physical you're, they would still benefit from one, right? Could like, how do I market myself better? There are all sorts of
Right.
things that you could do, but the physical limitation, since 99% of the business is physical, that's
Mhm.
harder. So if your tool is online, if your website is how you do most of your business or social media or whatever it is that is connected
Mhm.
through technology, AI is going to have the most leverage effect. So that would work if it were a small business of a one person, like a coach, would be great. That'd be an ideal client. The best part about that is if I don't have to work with a team that's, 20 to 50 people, I don't have to go through a month of decision making. We can make a decision right now. That's
Okay.
ideal. Ideal is to is to work with the business that can make a decision today, and generally that has to be a small business.
Right. So you do work with bigger companies, but you recognize that because there's so many decision makers, there's a lot of red tape sometimes and just get
Yeah,
making that
they're their
choice.
own worst enemies. We had to
Right.
go through four versions of the agreement, and it just it took a month.
Wow.
This is after they flew me out.
It isn't that interesting. But just knowing, I feel the confidence that you have that you can
Yeah.
solve problems and issues for companies or for people,
Right.
and just have them having the faith in that that can actually happen. And now they're
Yeah.
seeing the results. They're seeing, the fruit on the tree, so to speak.
Yeah.
But where do you think AI transformation is going then in the next 1 to 3 years? And should someone position themselves to get ahead of that so they don't feel left behind? I mean, how do they
I
do
mean,
that?
I'm sure you've heard like everybody just has to jump on, otherwise they're going to get left
Right.
behind. Yeah, that's a big concern. One other thing I'll say is about how to not feel overwhelmed by this. I'm not going to be able to give you a specific solution for someone on the call, just like you wouldn't ask me, or I wouldn't ask a therapist, what is your solution for me going to be before we talk, right? Everything's going to be special to you. Um, where do I think it's headed in the next 1 to 3 years? Strap yourself in. Like it's definitely going to be a wild ride. And I feel like it's happened gradually enough right now that people are mostly okay with the way that it's gone. But you've heard surprising things every week because of AI. And
Right.
if you're not following it closely, then maybe every month or so. But it's going to start becoming very, very um, surprising how fast the changes are happening in AI because we're getting new, better models just about every month. And it's shocking how much better they get every single time. Um, it means fewer mistakes. Everything you're hearing about AI, it causing more mistakes and spending, costing more than human developers, things like that. That's true and it's been true, but it's becoming less and less true all the time. Eventually, it's just going to be better than people at just about everything, which is why the next thing that is AI is robotics, right? You're going to start seeing a whole lot more of humanoid robots and drones and little delivery robots. It's going to look like Star Wars out there because we'll just have so many little guys and cars and everything just going around. So in about 3 years, that's roughly what life's going to look like. It's going to look like Jetsons. It's going to look very different. Um,
Wow.
and
How do you
that's
see
just the world
yourself?
around you, and how do you position yourself? Like, is that your question? Or sorry.
I mean, that's like mind blowing. How do you see yourself adding value to the success magnet community? And obviously, anybody who has become a member here wants to create more magic in their life, be successful in each area of their life. This is a key component to what you're doing with AI,
Yeah.
with business, even just with general family, just providing awareness and providing solutions for people through AI. How do you see yourself fitting in with the Success Magnet community and coaches?
First off, I see myself as kind of like a magnifying glass or a force multiplier. So whatever you're trying to accomplish, I can work with you. And for Success Magnet, I also see a very important role in helping people just feel comfortable about AI.
Mhm.
There is a lot of fear, there's a lot of hate towards the technology because of how disruptive it is being
Yeah.
and how inhuman sometimes it can it can produce content and things like that. So I think I can definitely help people understand how it can be useful and how it can be productive and how you can actually treat it like a partner instead of a tool.
Right. So I know that you've agreed to do 15-minute consultations for anybody who's interested in if you can possibly help them. Uh, what kind of, I know we talked a little bit about your ideal client before, but speaking to the Success Magnet community, who do you think would best benefit from what you have right now?
It's a very good question. I think we're probably going to have to experiment a little and see how how everybody is positioning their service. And that's going to really tell me what tools and systems I can build for Success Magnet as a community. So I think it's going to be a learning experience. and that every call gets better and better in terms of identifying how best we can serve. The crazy thing about this is new possibilities become available every time the technology is updated. And
Mhm.
that used to be, used to be we think of that in terms of decades, how it's going to change an industry. Now really it's changing on a monthly basis. The additional people that we can help, the additional services. And when people ask me, is AI going to replace all the jobs? Or is it going to get rid of, is it going to, destroy all the human jobs and take all the jobs from people? And I say, how many unmet needs are there?
Uh,
There
Good
are
point.
1,000 unmet needs for
Mhm.
everything that you can think of. There's so much more. People need to do that instead of stuff that they weren't born to do. The technology
Right,
that gave you the job that you have today is stuff that's busy, it's extra. You should be living your life. And you should focus your transformation on stuff that gives you more time to do things you love and be with people.
right. And as far as like you being one of the success magnet coaches here, I mean, every single person on this platform has their own individual business. And our job here is to promote the idea of, becoming more successful in every area of your life. So any of those coaches or even in the members that are part of it can meet with you and they have an individual need. So
Yeah.
it's not like you're helping Success Magnet, you are helping the people that belong to or members, our
Yeah.
success magnets themselves, right? To
Well,
help them to
exactly.
truly become that.
I mean, I've been an instructor for AI developers and for just software developers and web programmers
Okay.
in general. I've taught over 2,000 students.
Okay.
And these are people that are transitioning in their careers from any previous job as a hostess or like a waiter or delivery driver or anything like that, or truck driver. And now they're trying to get into technology. I see these success magnets doing that, both for themselves in terms of the coaching community that they're building and for the services that they're providing for other people. So I think we can basically turn every success magnet into an electromagnet and dial up the volume.
That is a great way to end this preliminary interview. I feel like we're going to hear a lot from you, Pace, and thank you. We're looking forward to seeing the modules that you create
Yeah,
and just the magic that you can bring to our system and to this community. We really appreciate you. So thank
thank
you for
you.
your time today.
Happy to do it. Thank you.